Wait lang. The donkey cart. At 25, I was a teacher in a small town in northwest China. The town was sparsely populated and being so remote. It lacked modern means of communication in the evening. The wolves howled in the nearby hills and occasionally entered the town in quest of prey. I spent only 1 year there and being to endure the isolation. Packed my bags when the summer holidays arrived and prepared to return home. A traveler had to take a donkey cart to the nearest railhead, some 25 miles away. On arriving at the departure point in the center of the town, I found that all the carts being mostly engaged in carrying local products had left. I began to despair. Sir, a sibilant whisper came from a young folkie whom I only knew a little. He was from the tiny Muslim restaurant. All the carts have gone out in the county district. Pretending I left his remark unnoticed, as time passed, I began to feel tired and hungry. The folky approached again and said, Sir, why not come inside with us? There may be a donkey cart somewhere in the town. I'll try to find one for you. All right, I agreed to take my baggage inside. Having taken a table facing the street, I ordered a small pot of wine and dish of mutton, which were promptly served. A stout, cheerful man, the owner of the restaurant, must have learned of my problems, so he came to me. Relax, my friend, and I'll see what can be done, he said, rubbing his hands together. It's already 4 o'clock, I complained, and he said, rubbing his hands together. Don't worry, said the innkeeper. Dry weather like this is good traveling at night. I sat there quietly, looking at my watch, occasionally hoping to see a cart through the open door. The entrance was suddenly barred by the figure of the folkie, who came shouting that business was good at the market and that all carts had gone and were not expected to return until the morrow. The folkie moved away, revealing an empty donkey cart. I leaped up, hurried to the door, and I was just about to hail the driver when I realized who he was. My hands dropped and I returned regretfully to my seat. The innkeeper gave me a sympathetic smile. The driver was leaning, an old man with the most unsavory reputation among the drivers. He couldn't be trusted, even the children called the villain in their game Lane. I had used his cart once when I arrived in the town, and I remember him vividly as a melancholic with thick eyebrows, white cheekbones, and thick short mustache. A story about him moves around the town, saying that when he was young he had been a member of a gang. They had all been punished by the law, but the old folk escaped and returned to the town. He had taken the job of being a transport driver. Soon afterwards, an event occurred which seemed to confirm his reputation. It was said that he was employed to drive a local merchant who carried a substantial sum of money. The day after the journey, the merchant was found clubbed to death in a ditch below a stretch of flat land. Some miles from town, everyone was aware that Ling was the driver who had been employed to drive the merchant. He denied this and asserted that the merchant had transferred to another cart driven by now lost Chun at halfway stage. The local magistrate did a formal investigation of the case but could find no definite evidence except for some noise in Ling's arms. He was of course acquitted, but the people of the town still considered him guilty. He avoided heat and seldom made use of his service except for short journeys during the day and along well-frequented roads. The clock struck 5 and I realized that there was a little hope of catching my train now and then. Asked old Lin Nang if it is still possible to catch the 9:45 train if we leave now. I said the innkeeper looked worriedly at me but went nevertheless outside to inquire for me. Old Lin, his shabby and his hat in hand, said with some confidence, I'll get you to the train in time, sir, but we must start at once. I looked at the innkeeper hesitantly, but all things he asked me to put my faith in Ling. I had to make the trip. Is the weather suitable for a night journey? I asked. It is perfect, sir, was the reply. When I posed again, he seemed to stand the cause of my worry. You could always take another cart in the morning, he went on. No, I had decided I have to catch the train tonight. I paid the bill and went outside Lane lifted the baggage in the cart as I climbed in, he said. We are ready to go now, sir. You can take a nap if you want to. Flatly I answered I didn't want to, and he poured a crack in his whip. He lurched forward. Some 3 hours had passed and we were traveling across a barren plain under the darkening sky. The only signs of life were the occasional barking of the dogs as we passed near some habitations. The countryside seemed to be asleep with the night wind singing a lullaby. The driver rocked and swayed rhythmically, now giving a flick of the whip back to the donkey. I leaned against the side of the cart, grasping a large stone, which I had picked up before climbing into the vehicle. Link glanced at the sooty lamp and at the starry night stake, then turned to me. My hand gripped the stone harder. Are you dozing? Sir? No, the cart began to slow down, and the driver made the whip sound loudly in the night air. The poor animal stretched its neck, but to little avail. We were having difficulties climbing the hill from the plain. Get on, dummy, yelled Berlin, jumping down from the seat and moving to the rear of the cart. I felt nervous now wondering if this was a calculated move to get behind me. I'll have to push from the back if you will shout at the donkey. Shall I get down to make the cart lighter? No, just sit there, sir, please, he replied. I'd better get down for a while if only to stretch my legs. I jumped down and walked behind the cart while the driver strained until we reached the crest of the hill. Thank you. You are very kind to help my donkey. He is almost as old as I am now, Rose, for a long time. He has been doing short journeys around the town and has forgotten this hill. I resumed my seat, and by then the night grew even darker. The way more rugged, the wheels creaked and groaned as through in protest of the roof cheering. Suddenly he put his whip down in the cart and swiveled at his waist. Would he attack me now? Wondered. I put one foot off the seat and held the stone ready. To defend myself, there was a rustle and he half turned in his seat. He struck a match and the familiar smell of tobacco smoke drifted me. You want to smoke, sir? No, I don't. I have not been so far out of the town a long time. It seemed very strange to me now. It's certainly strange, I replied. You are the southern, sir. I wonder if things are strange in the south. I replied that things were strange in any parts of the world. He laughed. Things are all strange under the sun. The smoke drifted over his shoulder toward me. Have you heard strange rumors about me in the town? He continued dispassionately. Probably. I tried to offer indifference, slightly afraid as I wonder why he had asked that question. I have no long journeys for years because the town folks are afraid of me. They say I was a robber once. Are there such rumors? I pretended to be ignorant of the story. That's why I say this word is tirage, rumor. It's more vicious than an angry serpent. Once you are bitten by it, you seldom recover. When I was young man and I trying to earn a living, tried many jobs. I was a soldier for a while and then worked in a vineyard later, where I was so unhappy that I decided to return home. Just before I arrived, read a large gang of robbers was arrested near the town. People had suspected that I had been one of the gang and had escaped. But how could they suspect with no evidence? I interrupted. Everyone has two lips, he went on. We can stop them from talking, sir. You may have heard a much stronger rumor about me. Well, luckily, I answered. Let me tell you the truth. It was not a such a sin, and on it's the same road when I was talking a leather dealer to the situation. He was a friendly officer. He kept talking about the business situation, while smoking owner's cigarettes after another. Midway, we met